Welcome to the Falcon Fanatic Podcast. I just did about 3 minutes and didn't realize I wasn't recording. Well, it's good to be back now and recording after a very frustrating loss against the Denver Broncos, where the Falcons fall to 6-5 as the Broncos improve to 6-5, and the only silver lining to this game at all is that we were able to see just a little bit of Michael Penix Jr., who looked the part of an NFL QB, looked the part. Maybe not as good as Bo Nix was playing today, but Michael Penix was able to pick up some deep balls and find some open guys. 2 for 6, 94 QBR, which is a lot higher than the 34 QBR we got from Kirk Cousins. 2 for 4, 24 yards. That's the only silver lining. I mean, obviously, Jesse Bates is going to make some good plays. All right, and he did get screwed over by the ref. Defensively, he was the only guy who showed up. Really, the only guy. Once again, the Falcons are unable to generate any pressure on the Broncos, and Bo Nix, a quarterback who can use his legs just a bit, had so much time, didn't even have to use his legs, still ran for a couple of yards, but it's just so frustrating game after game. Sure, you get Judon with the sack, but actually I give credit to the Broncos right tackle, Mike McGlinchey, who just trips up Bo Nix, and Judon gets credit with the tackle, and it's one of the only times all day where the Falcons were able to stop the Broncos on offense. They scored 38 points, and it looked so easy. It was from the get-go to the end of the go. It was just so frustrating, and I can't believe I even just mustered a laugh there. It was really frustrating. The Jesse Bates made a couple of pokes, a couple of good plays. Other than that, we were picked apart by Bo Nix, who I was trashing before the season for being just a quarterback I did not believe in. But you know what? He's a very similar quarterback to the one you see in Seattle, who just ripped us. Right? That was the only other games that the Falcons have struggled. And you have a quarterback, Bo Nix, who can pick you apart. And all of a sudden, our defense looks like tape. Looks like being held together by tape. And Geno Smith looks very similar to Bo Nix in this game. And Bo Nix looks the part of an NFL quarterback, and a decent one at that. Also, the Falcons' struggles to stop the run continue. Javonte Williams, 6.6 a carry, although they didn't run him much because the passing game was on fire. Javonte Williams, 59 yards, 1 touchdown, 6.6 a carry. Jaleel McLaughlin, 5 carries, 19 yards. Estime, 16 yards, 6 carries. So at least we were able to stop Audric Estime, who I have no idea who he is. But like I said, the rushing didn't even annoy me that much. It was the receiving. Cortland Sutton absolutely torched A.J. Terrell, who was not seen the entire game. Vele kept burning us on third downs, finding open spots across the middle. And little Jordan Humphrey, which, A-plus name, really frustrating from him. Well, Jordan Humphrey got open on a couple of big plays. He's basically playing their Ray McLeod role, Lil Jordan Humphrey is. And he burned us for 52 and a touchdown on one 41-yard long pass. And we couldn't touch him. Couldn't touch Marvin Wims. Couldn't touch Vele. And it was a long day for this Falcons defense. And I'm seeing stuff on Twitter like, hey, Justin Simmons, don't think you're signing a contract after this year. Oh, hey, Richie Grant, let's me see you make a tackle in the backfield. You're a second-round pick. Start acting like it. It's been freaking 4 years. Still can't make a tackle. Clark Phillips, sure, does the same thing as AJ. Can't really see him all the game. Judon, sure, you got a sack. Our AK just got started in front of you. Isn't that incredible? The guy you're supposed to be replacing, which is basically nothing, Arnold Embakati, basically nothing as a pass rusher, even he's a better option than you. And you still give us nothing. Still give us absolutely nothing. And we didn't get anything from the middle either from Onyemata. But you're not expecting that. You're not expecting to get anything from Grady Jarrett or Kentavious Street. You want your edges to do something. You want your linebackers to do something. And I know Ellis and Landman combined for 18 tackles. Good for you guys. Over the middle, there was just so many gaps, and they were running circles around us with their offensive scheme that is being cooked up by the former Saint, and I stress this, former Saint head coach, and it's being cooked up, and it looks just like last year's Miami Dolphins. And they're cooking us, and it's Marvin Mims, little Jordan Humphrey, and Devon Vele. You know, this isn't Jamar Chase doing this to us. It's Devon Vele. Who knows who Devon Vele is? I've never heard that guy's name called once in my life, but I heard it 4 times today because he caught 4 passes for 66 yards. And their defense looked so much more put together than ours. They had 4 sacks, and they were legit sacks, and they got pressure on Kirk because Kirk can't fucking move in the pocket. He just stands there all game, trying to throw every single time to Darnell Mooney or Drake London, and he threw a pick today where he looked like there was 2 Broncos there. He threw right to him. There was 2 of them. Just gave it to him. Falcons are trying to come back in this football game. Just so frustrating. He just eyes down Darnell Mooney, eyes down Drake London. Doesn't look Kyle Pitts' way. Doesn't look Bijan's way. Doesn't look Daryl Hodges' way. Is that something I'm saying? Doesn't even look. I don't even know. Ray McLeod had 6 targets. We couldn't get anything going because they rushed the QB really well. And you're going to blame this game on the injuries. And I know coming into this game, I knew about the injuries. 7 guys on defense. Let me just read you the Falcons injury list right now as I pull it up. But this is not an excuse, okay? And there was more injuries coming out throughout the game. You hate to see Darnell Mooney go down. You hate to see that. But let me read you through the Week 11 injury report. Mike Hughes out. Troy Anderson out. J.D. Bertrand out. D. Alford out. I love me some D. Alford. Hamilton out. He's nothing. Doesn't matter. Smith Williams made a couple of plays. He's out. Taquan Graham also out. Those guys are not your top defensive players. It's James Smith Williams, okay? Your best defensive player there is D. Alford. He's our nickel corner. We should not be letting the Broncos score 38 points because we don't have D. freaking Alford, okay? That is not an excuse. And offensively, yes, Darnell Mooney goes out in this game. That's not an excuse. You know, we've seen what Daryl Hodge can do, okay? We've seen what Kyle Pitts can do. He had one catch, 9 yards. 1 catch, 9 yards there from Kyle Pitts. Drake London only had 3 receptions. Move the ball around. I hate seeing all these screenplays to Ray McLeod, and we can't freaking stop little Jordan Humphrey or Marvin Mims on a screen pass. Is that not all we call in practice? Because I see it every single time for the Falcons in game, and it never works, and the Broncos can run it to death, and it works every time. It's Bo Nix, guys. It's Bo Nix. I can't believe it. This was not what I was expecting from this football game. I thought the Falcons would be at least able to stay and stick with the Denver Broncos. But this was embarrassing. It's a rout, and it's a game that just proves to you that the Falcons are not who we thought they were. They are not going to be anything better than a first-round exit for a team coming in to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and knocking us off. This team needs help. Kirk Cousins looked like a statue, and he looked like Week 1, Week 2 Kirk Cousins in this match. The running game couldn't sniff anything. Bijan, who's usually good for more than 35 yards, had 35 yards on 12 carries on 3 a rush. Those are Tyler Algier numbers. Those are Ito Smith numbers. Right? That's not Bijan. The one thing we can do is run block, and when we don't have that, we can't do play action, and Kirk Cousins is stuck taking sacks and stuck getting hit. And it's just so frustrating. And we basically, this is how embarrassing this game got. In the fourth quarter, the Falcons ended up just rushing the ball every single play and ended up kneeling it out because we wanted to get out of this game so quickly. Younghoe Koo, other silver lining, knocked down his 2 field goals. It looks like he's changed his stance a little bit to actually be able to put it through the uprights. Would have loved to have won that game last week sitting instead at a 7-4 record. That would have at least made me feel a little bit better going into the bye week, but it doesn't. And the Falcons are 6-5, barely 500, and this team looks like it's ready to flounder. And I don't blame anybody for thinking that. And the thing is, like I said, we have ball players on the defensive side, and I see a lot of people looking towards Jimmy Lake because of how well this defense played in Atlanta last year with very much the same squad. I mean, I don't think Calais Campbell is making that much of a difference. And we have ball players, and you're looking at Jimmy Lake, and you're looking at Raheem Morris, and you're like, give us something defensively. Please give us something. Because we are being picked apart with our zones, and we're not rushing the passer anyway. The only way we are rushing the passer is if we send Caden Ellis on a blitz. And I'm telling you, teams are picking up on it. It's the one thing we do. Oh, man. We're playing Kevin King at corner. So, that just basically tells you where we're at the moment. 6-5, and the vibes have never been worse. And I know we're going to turn it around somehow after the bye. We're somehow going to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. But it's just, when you're on the highs, when you're winning football games, you have to keep this in mind that this, at its worst, is this Falcons team. And this is not a good Falcons. This is not a good football team. And when we're good, we're good. We can stick with the Chiefs. But when we're bad, we might just be one of the worst teams in football. And it's another frustrating loss for the Falcons. And it could have been different. We could have scored at least more than 6 points if it weren't for the refs, who stalled our first scoring drive of the game with some stupid holding penalties that, I don't even think restricted Bijan anyway. And like one on Bijan that stopped him from scoring a touchdown, and another one on Drake London who stopped him from scoring a touchdown on the same drive. Really frustrating. And then the other play, it's 4th and 3, and Bo Nix stands there in the pocket and fires over the middle, and it looks complete. He gets 2 feet down, but it's poked out there by the one man who gives a shit about this football team. Jesse Bates pokes the ball out, incompletion. The Falcons get the ball back. It's only a 2-score game. We can get back in this football game. And now it was all because of Jesse Bates. And we go into it, the ad break, feeling great, feeling high, imagining the comeback possibilities. And you come back and you hear, the call on the field was changed. And both commentators, which never happens, they're usually err on the side of caution, were like, I don't see any way that this was overturned. I can't believe this. Because what you're doing, not only the fact that it was clearly an incompletion, I know he had 3 feet down, I understand. He did not make a football move at all with the football. That's an incompletion, and the pacing is just like every other incompletion that's ever occurred because a guy swatted out of his hands. The same pacing. So I don't care how many feet he had down, okay? He could have had 8 feet down, I don't care. But if you're looking at it, and the thing that's so annoying to me is that you're rewarding a guy for dropping the football, for fumbling. Yes, it is a fumble. And you're rewarding the Broncos for them fumbling. It's like if I threw away $10 and then another 50 hit me in the face. Like, what the hell? No, I don't deserve that. I just threw away $20 in the sewer and I just got 50 hit me in the face. That's so stupid. Why are you rewarding them for playing bad football and making the wrong call anyway? I'm sorry. I usually am supportive of the refs, but that was just such a frustrating call and basically lost the Falcons the game. After the calls earlier that were also frustrating. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to have to calm myself down, and that is what I'm doing now. The Falcons are going to win more football games, and we're probably going to make the playoffs. But like I said, it's just useful to look back at these games. So we're going on to a bye week, which is going to be not fun because we're going in losing to the Saints and getting dominated by the Broncos. We come back, Chargers-Vikings. Very high possibility that this Falcons team is looking at 6-7. Still top of our division, but looking at 6-7. And then we have Raiders, Giants, Commanders, Panthers. So we'll still probably finish out with 9 wins just because we play the Panthers, just because we play the Giants, just because we play the Raiders. But just that Saints game is just look so tantalizing right now. Just cool. Please make 2 field goals there instead of missing all 3. That's all I need from you. Anyway, very frustrating stuff. Broncos beat us. It was on the cards. It was a possibility. You would have not liked to see it be such a bad loss, especially after a disappointing loss the week before. But we go into our bye week looking to regroup, looking to get a little healthier, even though our main guys are healthy. It was a lot of guys out, but it was, not our star players. Anyway, looking to get a bit healthier, looking for Koo to nail a couple more kicks, and looking to maybe knock off one. I need them to knock off one of these 2 games against the Vikings and against the Chargers. If they can do that for me, I'll be fine. We'll be on pace, on track where we need to be, and that's fine. Just really frustrating stuff the last couple of weeks, and I hope the Falcons are able to regroup, because that is not it. That's one of the worst blowouts that's happened to the Falcons in much time. Unfortunate stuff, and it just shows you how bad our division is, because we've been able to steal a bunch of division games against our poorest division, and that's why we have a winning record. It's an easy schedule. It's the easiest schedule in the league, and we're still 6-5. Anyway, yeah, hope Bijan's better. Hope Kirk can find his pass catchers better. Hope our defense gets a little bit healthier and isn't held by a stick of glue. And hope we can make the playoffs and regroup next year with a better idea of what a football team should look like. And maybe with a different defensive coordinator. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Falcons Fanatic Podcast. I'll be back after the break, after the bye week. Thank you for listening. Sorry to my roommates upstairs for keeping them up with my hate-filled rant. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one, and, stay positive.